Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing Canto 14. Last time we saw Dante and Virgil, they were going through a forest of people who had taken their own lives due to various reasons. Some grand, some selfishness, and we're talking to different trees that contain the spirits of people at this point. I know we'll be continuing this level, so let's get started, shall we? Because the charity of my native place constrained me, gathered I the scattered leaves, and gave them back to him, who now was hoarse. Then came we to the confines where departed. The second round is from the third, and where a horrible form of justice is beheld. Clearly, to the manifest these novel things, I say that we arrived upon a plain, which from its bed rejecteth every plant. The dolorous forest is a garland to it, all round about, as the sad moat to that. There, close upon the edge, we stayed our feet. The soil was on an arid and thick sand, not of another fashion made than that, which by the feet of the Canto once was pressed. Vengeance of God, oh how much odd sight thou, by each one to be dreaded, who doth read that which was manifest unto mine eyes. Of naked souls beheld I many herds, who all were weeping, were miserably, and over them seemed set a law of diverse. Supine upon the ground some folk were lying, and some were sitting all drawn up together, and others went about continually. Those who were going round were far the more, and those who were less who lay down to their torment, but had their tongues more loose to lamentation. Over all the sand waste, with a gradual fall, were raining down delirated flakes of fire, as of the snow on Alp without a wind, as Alexander in those torrid parts of India beheld upon his host flames fall unbroken till they reached the ground, whence he provided with his phalanxes to trample down the soil, because the vapor better extinguished was while it was single. Thus was described the eternal heat, whereby the sand was set on fire, like beneath the steel for doubting of the dole. Without repose forever was the dance of the miserable hands, now there, now here, shaking away from off them the fresh gleeds. Master, began I, thou who comest all things except the demons dire that issued against us at the entrance of the gate, who is the mighty one whom seems to be heed not the fire and Lilith, lowering and disdainful, so that the rain seems not to ripen him? And he himself, who had become aware that I was questioning my guide about him, cried, such as I was living, am I dead? If Jove should weary out his smith, from whom he seized in anger, and the sharp thunderbolt wherewithin upon the last day I was smitten, and if he wearied out by turns the others, in Moglibello at the swelleth forge, falsifating, help, good Vulcan, help, even as he did there at the fight of Philica, and shot his bolts at me with all his might, he who not hath thereby a joyous vengeance. Then did my leader speak with such great force, that I had never heard him speak so loud. O Companius, and that is not extinguished, thine arrogance thou punished art the more, not any torment saving thine own rage would be unto thy fury pain complete. Then he turned round to me with better lip, saying, one of the 7 kings was he, who Thebes besieged and held and seems to hold. God in disdain, and little seems to prize him. But as I said to him, his own despites are for his breast the fittest ornaments. Now follow me, and mind thou do not place as yet thy feet upon the burning sand, but always keep them close unto the wood. Speaking no words, we came to where there gushes forth from the wood a little rivulet, whose redness makes my hair still stand on end. As from the Bulcum springs the brooklet, the sinful women later share among them, so downward through the sand and win its ways. The bottom of it, both sloping banks, were made of stone, and the margins at the side, whence I perceived that there the passage was, and all the rest which I have shown to thee, since he have entered in within the gate, whose threshold unto no one is denied. Nothing has been discovered by thine eyes, so notable as is the presence river, which all the little flames have in quenches. These words were of my leader, whence I prayed him, that he would give me largest of the food, for which he gave me largest of desire. In the middle of the sea there sits a wasteland, said he thereafterward, whose name is Crete, under whose king the world of old was chast. There is a mountain there, that once was glad, with waters and with leaves, which was called Ida. Now 'tis deserted, only a thing worn out. Rhea once chose it for the faithful cradle, and her own son, and to conceal him better. Whenever he cried, she there had clamors made. A grand old man stands in the mount erect, who holds his shoulders turned towards Demetria, and looks at Rome as if it were his mirror. His head is fashioned of refined gold, and of pure silver are the arms and breasts. Then he is brass as far down as the fork. From that point downward, all is chosen iron, save that the might foot is the kindling baked clay, and more he stands on that than on the other. Each part except the gold is by a fissure, asunder cleft, that dripping is with tears, which gathered together perform it that cavern. From rock to rock they fall unto the valley, Ecrion, Styx, and Philoctheon they form, then downward go along the narrow slurs, until the point where there is no more descending. They form Cocytus. What that pool may be, thou shalt behold, so here 'tis not narrated. And I to him, if so the present runnel doth take its rise in the wave from our world, why only this verge appearance? Is it us? And he to me, thou knowest the place is round, and notwithstanding thou hast journeyed far, still to the left descending to the bottom. Thou hast not yet through all the circles turned, therefore something new appears to us. It should not bring amazement to thy face. And I again, Master, where shall be found Leth and Philoctheon? For one of thou art silent, and sayest the other of this rain is made. In all thy questions truly thou dost please me, he replied he, but the boiling of the red water might well solve one of them thou makest. Thou shalt see Leth, but outside the moat, there where the souls repair to lave themselves, when sin repented of his been removed. Then said he, it is time now to abandon the wood. Take heed that thou come after me. Away the margin make that are not burning, and over them all vapors are extinguished. Alright, now that we read the chapter, let's talk about it, shall we? This section was more about leaving the forest as we know it. We're still in the forest, like as is, but the difference is that we're moving to like more of the back end of it, where people are being punished by having to walk on fire more than anything else. Because we can see how people, depending on their sins or their crimes in life, they have to sit on this fire in different positions. Some have to walk through it, some have to just kneel on it, some are able to talk, some aren't able. and some are just able to wail about what's going on with them. It's a really eerie scene, but it works in the sense. And there, Dante recognizes somebody who was killed from where he was, and it brings up the question, where does this all come from? Like, where does this kind of come, like this whole thing originate from? Where Virgil just tells him the story of an old man who lived at the top of a mountain, who was once a paradise but is now a desert. And he stayed there looking at Rome from a distance and can't help but think that it is him. It's just a reflection of this old man. And it's just about how at this mountain and this man were so similar, how it was the man had a helmet of gold, but then as he went down, the chest plate turned from gold to like a silver, and then from a silver to a bronze, and then just to an aluminum towards the bottom, which is very interesting, and it kind of reflects the mountain itself being a desert and going all the way down to a darker tone. And it is more of a metaphor for the fall of Rome in a situation like that, how this old man felt that it was him, but that's more to talk about later. Right now, I would have to say this was a very interesting chapter, and I can't wait to move on to the next level of hell. Hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. I know I did. Sorry this one took so long. I didn't want to read anything like this for Christmas season, and I did catch a bit of a cold in the middle of it all, and I couldn't really get the full Dante experience from that. Anyway, I'll be back next week to read more. Leave a comment, like, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this. If you didn't, that's fine. Come back Wednesday and we'll have a review of a different kind. Thanks again for watching, and see you later.